celebrating 11 years of possibility. Pilot Flying J and Halloran Hilton Hill present Anything is Possible. Today's guest, Gloria Deathridge.
Welcome to Anything is Possible. I'm Halloran Hilton Hill, and of course these are great stories about great people who prove with their lives that anything is possible. This is Gloria Deathridge. Welcome to the broadcast. You're a school board member, you're a realtor, you're a mom, you're involved in the community, and you sing in the choir.
Yes, I do.
Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
In talking to you, I found out that you grew up in Cleveland, Tennessee.
Yes.
What was that like growing up in Cleveland, Tennessee?
Oh, it's country. I mean, I enjoyed
Are you
Cleveland.
a country girl?
Oh, yes, I am.
What is a country girl?
Well, country girl enjoys being outdoors a lot, being in the community, running from door to door. You don't lock the door. Doors are open to anybody and everybody that comes around, and you live close to a family. You have a sister, you have your grandmother next door, your aunt down the street, your other aunt on the next street, so you kind of all together.
Country's like family. What do country girls eat?
Oh, good old country food. We even had, chicken, pork chops, meatloaf. My mother's favorite was pinto beans and cornbread.
Love pinto beans and cornbread.
Oh, so just country.
So you're a country girl.
Yes.
All right, so you grew up in Cleveland. I understand that you had 3 brothers.
Yes, I do.
You're the only girl.
Yes.
What was that like growing up with 3 brothers?
Oh, you had to learn how to hang with the boys early. I mean, I was one of the boys.
Really?
Yes. Whatever games they played, I played. Whenever they were outside doing their thing, I was too.
Were you competitive?
Very. Very competitive, because it was 4 of us.
Did you see the way you just said that?
It was 4 of us.
You said very.
It was 4 of us. So when we had wrestling matches, you had 2
You got
and 2.
right in there?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know how we used to have slap down? You had to slap to get out? Tag team. Yeah, I had to be a tag team.
So you wrestled your brothers?
I wrestled with my brothers.
You handled them?
We handled them. We handled each other. In fact, I got a scar from when one of them slammed me down real hard on the bedpost.
Now, so let me ask you this. Your mom and your dad never told you not to?
Oh, no.
Say, oh, you're a little girl. You don't need to be out there with your brothers doing all this stuff.
Oh, no, because they always said, go outside and play. So when you go outside and play, you played. I lived across the street from a family that had 10. So then the other family had about 3. So we had a neighborhood of kids that loved to just play, run and run and run and run. That's all we did all day. Played basketball. You made a basketball goal on the tree.
Right.
Little rim, and you go out and you play basketball with a little bitty ball, whatever you could, and that's how you played basketball. We broke windows out of houses by throwing ball, playing softball, baseball, whatever.
So you grew up there. Now, what school did you attend?
I started out with College Hill High School, where you started with 1st grade through 12th. It was segregation, so we all went to the same school. You bus kids in from Athens and different places. And then when I became 7th grader, I was recruited to go to a school to play because my brother, my oldest brother, Terry Scott, integrated Bradley County High School.
Wow.
So they saw me run track for College Hill, and so they came and said, well, your brother played basketball, and he did good, and then you ran track, so we'd like for you to come out here and play with us. My mother said that's 10 miles out, and she has to be bused. So if she goes, then her younger brother has to go. So we were bused 10 miles out in the country, farther out in the country, and to an all-white neighborhood, and found out it was more mixed than we thought. So
what was that like?
It was scary at first until you got there and you found out, like I said, it was a mixed community. So they wanted me to play basketball, and I really had never really participated on a organized basketball team. We just played. So the first thing they said, well, Gloria, can you shoot? And I said, oh, sure. I went out there and shot the ball. They said, well, maybe we can teach you some defense. So I became a defensive player. We played 3-on-3 at the time. It wasn't 5-on-5 like they have now. So then my youngest brother, who was 6, in the 6th grade, he started playing basketball. So that started his career as basketball also. So
tell me about your athletic career.
Well, I started out playing with a small school called Michigan Avenue. first black to play on that school, so that was different. Then I went to Bradley High School,
Right.
played basketball for Coach Jim Smitty, 4 years there, and we won state championship in 1970. So part of that team, and then went on to UT and played there for about 3 years.
What was it like playing at the University of Tennessee?
It was fun. It was challenging in the fact that we weren't. It was AIWA then, so I had to go from six team, 3-on-3 to a 5-on-5. So
Right.
I had to play. I was the defensive specialist, as you could tell. I wasn't the offensive threat, and I was tall, so I was one that would play defense against most of the other teams. Starters or stars, but it was great because I got to meet other players from all over the state of Tennessee that played. We started out with 30 girls trying to play basketball as a freshman, and so they had to dwindle it down, and we had to sell donuts to raise money because we didn't have a budget
Wow.
at the time.
When you were a girl, what did you imagine you'd become?
I wanted to be a nurse when I first started in the 6th grade. I remember that was something I wanted to do. You either teacher or nurse, and what I was, I guess, brought up to believe when I was in college or high school. And then I found I didn't like blood. So I thought, well, since I'm scared of blood, I guess that's not going to work. So I started thinking about what else can I be when I grow up. So then I wanted to be a computer analyst. Then when I took computer class at UT, I figured I didn't like that either. So I ended up just being graduating in general business. So,
Did you ever, you seem like the kind of person who, when you set your mind to something, there's nothing that tells you you can't do something.
that's true. If you tell me I can't, then I'm going to say I'm going to show you that I can. I'm going to prove to you that I can do whatever I set my mind to do.
Who do we have to thank for that, your parents or your brothers?
Both. My parents for encouraging me, and my brothers for challenging me, because I felt like I could do what they did. And my mother would say, well, but you're a girl. I said, I didn't understand that. Why is it that I'm different because I'm a girl? She said, because she did say you had to be a lady, but you can play ball, you can do whatever you want to do, but you will always be a lady. And you do it in that fashion. So I'd go out and play with the boys, but I'd always dress up like the ladies, like a little girl, and be a little girl.
So you could do both.
Yes.
Yeah, you were good with that. Gloria Deathridge is my guest on Anything Is Possible, and when we come back, we'll continue your story. My observation of you is that you have this presence about you, this energy that says, I can do whatever I want to do.
That's right.
Like when I asked you if you were competitive, you said, oh yeah. I mean, and so I want to follow up and ask you about that.
Yeah, wow, thank you.
More coming up in just a moment.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel. Coming up.
Well, I was still president of the PTA. I was still there. I was still working in the school system. He said, so if you have that passion, and you always on me about something, you need to put up or shut up.
Welcome back to Anything Is Possible. My guest today is a country girl, Gloria Deathridge. Thank you for joining us. So you went to the University of Tennessee. You
Yes.
played basketball at UT. You ended up in business. What came next?
After business, I went to Tennessee Valley. I worked almost 30 years for Tennessee Valley Authority.
Okay, so you worked at TVA for 30 years.
I worked at the Urban League prior to that. So after Urban League, I went to Tennessee Valley Authority, where I started in a clerical pool. So
Really?
then I worked my way into administration, and then into finance, and ended up being a business analyst consultant. So I would get bored after a while, and I thought, there's got to be something else to do. So
So you have this need to grow at all times.
Yeah, I get
that competitive spirit in you. It may not even be directed at someone else. It's directed at yourself. You want
That's
to push
right.
yourself to be the best you can be.
I'm always
See-
wanting to learn something new. If somebody tells me no, I had a young lady at TVA to say, I went to her and I said, I hear you're getting ready to retire and you're in finance. And I said, I'm in personnel. I said, so I would like to apply for that job. Oh, I don't know if you'd be good at that because it's challenging and it's always something going on and you have to do 2 or 3 things at the same time. And I just don't think you'd be good for that. that challenged me.
That's your starter switch.
Oh, yes. So I applied for the job. I got the job. I worked that job for at least 10 years, did fine. I moved my way on up the ladder, as you would call it, at the time in finance.
What did your mother and father teach you that gave you that spirit? Because when we talk about possibility on this show, that's one thing I see across the board. I see that spirit right there. That some people, if you press against them, they pull back. Other people, if you press against them, they lean forward. They fight. They have that spirit in them. Have you been able to identify where that came from?
Now, my father was in the Army and served in 2 wars, Korean as well as World War II. So I didn't get to see him a lot when I was young. So I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and my grandparents were hard workers, and my mother was a hard worker. She worked in the homes, cleaning other people's homes, and then she'd come home and try to take care of the family. My grandmother was the same. She never missed any ball games for any of her grandkids, so she was always there. My brother, like I said, he's the oldest, and he was decided that when they gave us the opportunity to integrate, he was going to be the first one through that door. He was determined that he was going to make a difference. So I watched my brothers do all, and I just followed in their footsteps. He was determined to make it, and he was determined to do well. And so I saw that because my mother did encourage us to do the best that we could do. She had a chance to go to college, and she decided she didn't want to. So I guess she felt like I didn't go, so I want my children to do better than me. So we all attended college. We all graduated from college. I had a brother that was a fireman. You know how incredible
that is? That you all graduated from college? That is amazing.
We all did. We all did.
But you were saying you have a brother that's a fireman?
He was. He retired he was a fireman. He was, for over 20, 30 years in Cleveland. And then my oldest brother, he played for MTSU, went on to coach at Oral Roberts University.
Wow.
Where my oldest brother coached my youngest brother when he came through at Oral Roberts University. So he pumped us up and made sure that we stayed on task. He was our big brother, so he wanted to make sure we all achieved.
So it was something inbred in your spirit. It was deep in the spirit of your family.
Oh, yeah.
We've got to make something out of the opportunities we're given.
Yes, and like I said, my oldest brother coached my youngest brother, and he was determined not only was he going to play ball, but he was going to graduate. So he graduated in 4 years, and he played ball in the NBA for 9.
Wow. So you graduate, you have a career at TVA, you finish that career, most people would just kind of kick back and enjoy, but now you're a school board member and a realtor. How?
When I left TVA, it was under they were reconstituting or whatever, reassigning everything. So I left with some money in my pocket, and I decided I was going to take that money and become a realtor because I love people. I love helping people. I wanted to work with people. And a lot of people in the community just didn't understand financing, how to buy a home, what it meant to buy a home, and the importance. So I said I wanted to help educate. So I got into real estate to help educate the community about buying homes and becoming homeowners, and so that's what I did. And at my first year, I did pretty good. I was making a lot of contacts, meeting a lot of people, and helping people. Then I got to thinking, a little prayer, I like helping people, but Lord, I also like making a little money. So he said, okay, so I started making different contacts too. So and then when, after I did that, and the economy changed. So about that time, Sam Anderson decided to give up his seat. Talked to Sam because I had been in school with PTA since I was at Vine, with my children at Vine. So I've been involved, and when they graduated from high school, I was still president of the PTA. I was still there. I was still working in the school system. He said, so if you have that passion, and you're always on me about something, you need to put up or shut up. Think about it.
You decided to put up. Once again,
I was challenged.
You were challenged, and you embraced the challenge because that's what you do.
That's what I do.
All right, so let me see what your next question is going to be. You want to pull? All right. When we come back, here's the question she will answer. What did you learn from your biggest failure and your biggest success?
Okay, what did I learn?
The answer when we come back.
Coming up,
When my mother passed away, she charged me to graduate. That was one of the last words on her lips before she passed away, was for me to graduate from college and to make something of myself. So I was determined that I was going to do that one way or the other.
Welcome back to Anything is Possible. I'm Halloran Hilton Hill. This is Gloria Deathridge. She's a school board member. She drew this question: what did you learn from your biggest failure, your biggest success? Let's start with your biggest failure. What did you learn from your biggest failure? What was it?
I'm trying to think of my biggest failure. You know, in life, there's a lot of things you like to do over. I know when I graduated from UT, I did not do the best I could when I was getting ready to come out. So I didn't graduate on time. I was supposed to graduate in May, and I graduated in August. And that was a class that I didn't do well in, and I struggled with it. And I considered myself a failure in the fact that I didn't do that. So I was determined that I was going to go back, do what I needed to do, graduate, and make something of myself, because I felt like when you set a goal and you don't achieve it in the amount of time you want to achieve it, you feel like you let yourself down. So you go back, recoup, and then go back and do what you have to do and take care of business. So that's what I did.
All right, so you learned, go back and finish. You learned always give your best. Don't.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
What has been your biggest success today?
Family.
Tell me about your
My family. You know, I married a good man, and we had 2 beautiful children, and we worked real hard on trying to give them the best that they could, educate them, help them understand what they have to go through, and how big a part education plays in life, and take care of business. And I think the fact they are doing good, they're doing well. I'm proud of my children. I'm proud of what they're doing and their accomplishments. So I feel like with God on our side, we did pretty good.
This show is called Anything is Possible, and I know you as a school board member, you really are in the business of possibility. Education really does give young people their best shot at creating the most possibility in their lives, because once they acquire the tools of lifelong learning, if they couple that with an unbridled curiosity and an incredible work ethic and a joy, because you have to have joy, it does open up great possibilities. I always like to ask people to kind of teach me what they've learned about possibility, because the core of what I want to do with this show every week is put on display people who took something and made something out of it because they believed something was able to be, which is the definition of possible. So take me to school. Teach me what you've learned about making something that's impossible possible.
The fact that we came from, my family back in Cleveland, came from watching our mother go to work, having to put cardboard in her shoes because she couldn't afford to buy new shoes. The fact that my father wasn't around a lot, and when he was not, my father was an alcoholic. So my mother took a lot of time with us. There was time we didn't even know if he was going to come home for the paycheck. So to overcome a lot of obstacles as a young person and the family, to overcome a lot of adversity because of our grandparents and our aunt and everybody that come together as family to make sure that we all achieve, and that we're all one populace of positive thinking individuals. And to come from that environment, to know that we all did graduate, we all did something with our lives, and that we, to this day, my brother and I, we are all located from Tulsa, Oklahoma to Phoenix, Arizona, to Chattanooga, Tennessee. We make sure we get together at least once a year, at least a couple of times, because we believe in family. We believe that the support needs to be there to help each other through adversity. And I take that kind of positive influence, it's when I'm dealing with children and when I'm dealing with schools, because I believe that anyone can accomplish anything. You just have to have the mindset and desire and the determination and the love for yourself and for what you're trying to do in order to accomplish. I tell kids that when they're in college and they want to give up and they're taking a class, if for every class you pass, you're getting closer to accomplishing that feet of graduation. So don't give up. You may miss a couple of semesters, you may miss a couple of opportunities, but always stay the course. If you stay the course, you will finish the race. So I try to encourage and pursue and push and cater and just love on the kids, because that's all a lot of them need is love.
You were a freshman in college when your mother died.
Yes.
How did that impact you?
It was hard, but at the same time, when my mother passed away, she charged me to graduate. That was one of the last words on her lips before she passed away, was for me to graduate from college and to make something of myself. So I was determined that I was going to do that one way or the other. So that's just something that she put inside me, that if you're going to do it well. Make sure that you do stay the course and be the person that you are. Don't ever give up on who you are, and don't ever allow someone else to make you different than what you are an individual, because God is the one that you always is your source. And when things get hard, make sure you always turn to God for your guidance.
When you talk to your kids now about their life and their future, now that you're in the position that your mother and grandmother and grandfather were in, what do you tell them about
Tell them the same thing. I tell them that you can achieve anything you set your mind to. And when things get hard, you know where you need to go to.
You love the Lord.
I really do. I think without him, I wouldn't be here. I don't think any of us would be here. It's just my belief, because he's always been good to me. I've seen what he's done in my life, and I know he's a good God. He's an awesome God.
Yeah, you should see the way your face changed, because like anytime anything competitive comes up, your eyes change. I mean, there's an intensity. But the minute I mentioned your family and the minute I mentioned God, your face just went like, wow, that's like he's your dude.
He is. He is. I pray before every school board meeting. I prayed on my way here. I mean, hey, that's what I have to do. I do that for strength.
You should see your face right now. That's great to see somebody in love with God. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We'll see you next week on Anything is Possible.